Hey everybody, welcome back to another action figure unboxing and review, G.I. Joe Classified Edition. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Cobra Ferret ATV and the Cobra Ferret Scout. As you can see, I've gotten rid of the background, the blue background as well for this video, along with the black cloth that I got rid of the previous videos. And I'm also breaking in a new camera phone for filming this video with, because the older one, the one I had before was older. The camera wasn't that great. It didn't upload in high definition on YouTube, and it didn't take really detailed pictures. It was kind of difficult to get it to focus for still photography for Instagram. I had it for a while, and when I first got it, I hadn't intended to do pictures and videos, so I didn't really care about the camera quality. I just wanted a phone. And, well, now I'm doing pictures and videos, so I want a better camera. And hopefully this camera will work out. This video will work out. If not, well, I'll find out when I upload it to YouTube. And then I'll decide whether I'm going to keep this one or return it and get a better one. Anyway, so I was able to pick up 2 of the ferrets. I know that in America they sold out quick, and people had a hard time finding or getting their hands on any. In fact, I don't even think they've been released yet in America. This is one of the few instances where we get them before you guys over here in Europe. They're actually still available in Pulse Europe, or Pulse UK. I don't know about Pulse Europe, sorry. So, surprisingly. And hopefully for you guys in the States and in Canada, they'll do another batch around the time when they release. I think they do that. They did that with the Vamp, didn't they? Or more to the point, people decided they couldn't afford it or didn't want it after all and canceled their pre-orders right around the time when it was released. So that put a bunch more up for grabs. But in any case, I got 2 because I tend to troop build. I got 2 of the Trouble Bubbles. I got 2 of the... No, I only got 1 of the Python Patrol Trouble Bubbles, but I got 2 of the regular Trouble Bubbles. I did not get duplicates of the Ram Cycles or the Coils, though, because they didn't come with troop builders. Although, technically, the upcoming Shockwave and Night Force Ram could be a troop builder, since it comes with one of those Steel Brigade helmets, or Steel Corps, however you want to call it. I'll just call it Steel Brigade. I don't care that Vala got this trademark for it. It's always Steel Brigade. But for Geos, I tend not to army build. Like, I only got 1 of the 60th anniversary divers and 1 of the soldiers. I didn't build or troop build on those. To me, G.I. Joe has always been like individuals taken from the various armed services to join up, and 1 elite special unit to take on a specific threat, i.e. Cobra. So Cobra is the one, they're the ones with the faceless minions that I army build, and the Joes not so much. So, but I didn't get 2 hisses, though. At the time, I didn't really want to splash out that much money for a pair of HasLabs. I do regret it a little bit, because I would have loved to have a second hiss. And I also only got 1 of the HMSs as a result of only having 1 hiss. If they're still up for sale when the Stinger is released, I might get a second HMS. That way I'll have 1 for each vehicle. But we'll see. Let's look at the Stinger, or the Ferret, though. So I got both the boxes out here. One of them I have already opened up, taken out, and put through its paces, as well as partially put together. The other one I've taken the tape off the box, but I haven't removed any of the wirings or the plastic ties on the inside, so I can show you how it comes packaged. So let me remove the one that's packaged. Actually, let me take a look here. I think this is the one I've removed already. It's hard to tell. Yeah, we'll just go with this one. If I'm wrong, okay. Actually, Yeah, there we go. I can tell because the vehicle is on its wheels in the other box, so it rolled around. So here you have the box. Pretty good looking shot of the figures on their vehicles in front of a temple backdrop. They look like they're like in Mexico or something like that. I don't know where else you see pyramids, temples like this, other than in Egypt, and this is definitely not Egypt. Could be Cobra Island. Maybe Cobra Island has temples like that, although if you're familiar with the comics, Cobra Island was basically risen from the sea in the Gulf of Mexico. They basically used, I think, was it a nuke they used, or was it volcanic activity? I can't remember now. I think they might have used a nuke to induce volcanic activity, which pushed the island up into the surface. But it's been a while since I read that issue. That issue was a long time ago, so if you know, let me know. And you can see the window here. It's got the figure in it. The Cobra Ferret driver or scout looks pretty good, in my opinion. This is definitely a good addition to the ranks of Cobra. Some people don't like it. Some people do. Some people think it looks too much like the Stinger, possible Stinger driver. And I can see that a little bit. We'll go over the in more detail when I get her out of the package. But on the bottom, you got the legalese. On the top, you got Cobra symbol and number 119. This is 119 on the line. On the side here, you got a nice looking piece of artwork of the Cobra Ferret Scout. And then on the other side, you got the QR code and the file card information. And then here on the back, you got more file card information. Well, the same, just bigger. And then more legalese on the bottom. Another shot of the Ferret Scout. She's 5.9 inches. There's the gear she comes with. Here's the ferret itself. And then you got close-ups of the vehicle. There's the gun on the front, and there's the close-up of the handlebars. And over here we have the inside where the driver sits. There's the tampo on this side there, and tampo over here. So you're probably waiting to see what this sucker looks like. So let's get it out of the box. First thing you want to notice, the box with all the accessories slides in right underneath there. And then this comes out like so. This is a separate piece that comes out. So if you've gotten the Vamp, you know exactly what to expect with this box because it's the same style. It's a little smaller, obviously, because the Vamp's a bigger vehicle, but it's the same style setup and everything. And this is how the vehicle is secured in the box. All four tires are up here, secured with 2 of those plastic ties on the back here. And then the vehicle itself is secured with 2 plastic ties as well. So there's a lot of ties to cut out. And these are a little bit more of a pain because of the way they threaded them through the spokes of the wheels. So you can't like cut them out from the front as easily. You got to kind of like lift them up and snip them off in the back. So that is how it comes packaged. We're not going to dwell too much on that. Well, you also get this as well. It's a little leaflet instruction manual. It shows you how to put everything together. And even shows you how to put the helmet on the Ferret Scout, as if you couldn't figure that out on your own. But you're not here to look at how it's packaged so much as you are here to look at it, how it looks out of the box. So let's get to that and put this back in. Put that box to the side, and we move on to the other Ferret Scout box. This one is put together. Well, partially. I still wanted to put some of it together on camera to show you how it goes. Piece of cardboard. All right, so here it is with just the wheels on. As you can see, it is quite wide, and isn't it decently long as well. Now, one of the things you'll notice that people have been pointing out online from a picture that they've seen is there's a little bit of a spelling error there. It should say missile launch, but they forgot the N, so now it just says missile launch. But the tampos are all nice, except for the misspelling on that one. And it's got some good detail. You can see the engine underneath there. Now, unlike the original one, this doesn't come off. This is just solid piece here, glued down. You can't remove it. But that used to come off on the original, and you could put like weapons and stuff in there. Not a lot, because it wasn't that big, even in the original one, or especially in the original one. This is a bigger vehicle, but there's also peg holes in the back here, so you could probably plug in exhaust effects or whatever if you wanted to. They're kind of small though. They're not the same size as like the bazooka's rocket. You know, the stuff that the blast effects that came with the rockets for bazooka, and as well as scrap iron. It's not as these pegs are much smaller, so I don't know what would fit in there. Maybe the flame effects that come with torch, but that'd be kind of weird to have just fire coming out of the back of the vehicle. I don't know how that would work. Anyway, let's well, I guess since I've already started with the vehicle, I might as well continue. Let me just get the accessories out of the paper here. And the gun comes in cardboard like this, which is good because it allows it to keep it from getting bent too badly. Everything else comes in the standard paper bag here. Now, all the Ferret Scouts pieces are in or accessories are in the plastic tray with her. So everything else in the paper bag is for the vehicle itself. We got the gun here, obviously. It's got a peg hole in the front if you want to put blast effects in it. It also has handles, so you can carry it. You can have one of your figures carry it off the ferret itself if you want. You'll also have two of these missiles, which don't seem to have any kind of exhaust port. They're just a missile on the front and a missile on the back. I don't know how these things fire, and I'm sure a lot of other people thought the same way, even back in the day, because these are basically the same as the missiles that came with the original vehicle in the 80s. They looked exactly the same, just smaller. So to this day, we're all baffled how these things fire when they don't have any obvious exhaust. You know, it just looks like a warhead in the front and a warhead in the back. The only thing I can think of is when these things pop off the side, like when they're launched off the side, they just split in two, and one goes in one direction and one goes in the other, which seemed kind of wasteful if you only have an enemy in front of you or behind you. You also will get two of these pieces here, which go into the side of the vehicle and are used to attach the rockets, the missiles, whatever you want to call them. So these stick onto the side right here, and then you can stick the missile on the front. You also get the handlebars, and it comes with a pretty nice looking display there. There's a, can get it to focus. There you go. There's a tampo on it. And it looks like there's like a radar screen kind of thing going on there. It's got handlebars with, and then on the front here it looks like a headlight. It doesn't actually light up, of course. And then you also get this two-piece grill section. Don't mind me, I just throw it on the ground. Yeah. But yeah, it comes into two pieces. As you can see, there's holes on the front of that. You would basically just slide this piece through the holes there. Oh wait, I had it upside down. Or did I? No, I think I had it right. Okay, so I seem to have forgotten how to do this. No, definitely wasn't going from behind it. Wait, maybe that goes in. I'll figure it out. Lastly, we have this clip here, this clip piece, which attaches to the various places on the back on the grill here, and then the top part pegs into the bottom of the gun right there. So you can position the gun in numerous different spots on the vehicle. Basically anywhere this will clip onto, you can put the gun there. So it can be on this side, it can be on this side, it can be in the front, it can be in the back, it can be on the bar here. It can pretty much be anywhere you want it to be. You can even stick it up here if you want it to be right in the front, right next to the driver. So let's try to get this put together. And that will snap right into place on the front there. And it doesn't have steering, unfortunately, so you turn this, the wheels will not move, or this won't move either. This moves independently, as you can see. Yeah, maybe this goes on upside down. I can't remember how to put the freaking grill on. I did it the one time and then I put it away until I was ready to do the video. Okay, I did have it upside down. It goes on like this, but see, I was trying to put it through like that, but this actually goes over that part there. So it goes like this. And then that goes into here. And it just snaps into place like you probably heard there. This is just plastic. It doesn't have an actual working winch like the Vamp, unfortunately. And then these parts, these two parts here, go on either side. The more rounded edges go into the missiles, where the more flat edges here go into the vehicle on either side here. These are really stiff. It's stiff to get them in there, and it's hard to put too much force on them to try and get them in, because this edge right here just digs into your hands. Like you can see the indentation it made in my fingers. It's not comfortable trying to get these in. And then of course the missiles go on either side here. I've heard some people say they're not even going to bother putting them on, and thankfully, because they made these a separate piece, it's easy just to leave the missiles off and not worry about it looking weird with these things sticking out with nothing on them. So if you want to leave the missiles off, fair game. And then of course, lastly, this thing will snap on. Let's see, I'll put it up here. It snap on just like that. And then this goes on the top. And you got your gun. And of course the gun can swivel around like that, and then it can move on that hook there in various different ways. It can swivel all around. Of course, if you put it where I have it now and you move it like that, you might knock off whoever you've got sitting behind the Scout there. Now, I did try this with the Crimson Twins earlier when I took pictures. I did take pictures of them sat on it, and they can both fit. I don't want to grab them out of the package again just to show here. But what I can do, and I should have thought about this before I put the other Ferret Scout away. But since I got two of them out here, what I can do is show what the two figures will look like in the vehicle. Or on the vehicle, I should say. That's the least I can do since I don't want to bother getting the Crimson Guards at it, the Crimson Twins out again. Now to get them to sit properly, you gotta kind of turn the feet because of that spot right there. There's no place for the foot to go in. It's just straight down. So by turning the feet to the side, you're able to slide her forward further. So that gives her more room for a passenger behind her. I'm not gonna go too far out of my way trying to get this to work because I just want to show this briefly before I move on to the figure review. And then back to the, before I move on to the other parts of the ferret and then to the figure itself. And then the other Scout can move in, sitting behind here. And you can either have her holding on to her partner, or she can kind of lean back and take shots with a gun or whatever. But yeah, they can. I didn't try too hard, but it's you can see how it would be easy to get two figures on here. I just wanted to do it really quickly just to show you how it would look basically. But you could secure it a little bit better than I've got it here. When I put the Crimson Twins on here, they fit really well. But I positioned them and moved their joints in the right directions, and I had Tomax's hands gripping the handlebars all the way, and Zaymont was on the back with his gun in his hand. But yeah, you can definitely see there's plenty of space for two people back here. So I know a lot of people were wondering about that, whether or not they'd be able to recreate the original box that had Storm Shadow driving with Firefly riding behind them, or the classic from the comics as well as the TV show. I think they showed it in the cartoon, Tomax and Zaymont riding this, but they definitely showed them in the cartoon or in the comic riding together on the Ferret. But yeah, it can be done. It's not difficult. All right, I think the only thing else to really show for the vehicle itself is that it has, just like the Vamp, it has shocks. As you can see right there, it's got the shocks. And although it can roll, the wheels are kind of stiff. They're not very loose. So it's not like it's not going to roll very easily, but it does It does kind of make a noise like a motorcycle when it's driving, like an ATV. I don't know if that's the tires on the surface I've got it on or what, but it sounds kind of cool in any case. All right. Now that we've gone over the Ferret, let's take a look at the Scout. Let's move the Ferret out of the way briefly. And bring in the Scout here. So the Scout is, I think, basically just the Valkyrie with a little bit different paint here and there and a little more like overlays and whatnot. Let me just quickly get the rest of her accessories out before I go into any more detail. All right. So she's got the mostly gray body with some blues, and of course that red Cobra signal there. And then there's blacks as well. She does have a few overlays. The vest appears to be an overlay. Yeah, it is. Vest is an overlay. The belt here is an overlay. She also has a thigh holster overlay here, and then a knife sheath overlay on her boot. And yeah, you can see it's got some good paints there, some blacks, some grays, some light grays, and some dark grays. Let's try to match that up there. Gotta turn it a little bit. All right. And then on the back, she's got more. I like the vest they gave her. It's kind of cool. Definitely looks like something like a motocross driver would wear. Just like the helmet, basically. So it looks like good protection. And then her face sculpt is pretty good. Yeah. Can't focus well on this camera. That looks like. Wait, there we go. So she's got nice eyes. They kind of look yellow almost, but I think they're just green. And then you can see the detail there. I tried this before. Someone asked me on the His Tank forum if the blues here matched the blue on the Valkyrie helmet, and I took a Valkyrie helmet and stuck it on her, and it pretty much did match. So if you were looking to put one of the blue Valkyrie helmets on your Ferret Scout, you could do that. But this figure itself looks pretty good. Got a lot of detail on the uniform. The black boots with the blue covers on the front. Going over articulation. She has the ball peg without the hinge, unfortunately. For her head, which can make her look that far down, about that far up, that's it. She can do the Exorcist. She's got some tilt going on there. So her arm can go all the way around. She does have butterfly joint, you can see. She can get just under 90 on the T-pose. Got the bicep cut. Oh, this is also an overlay. I forgot to mention. That can move. It's not glued down or anything like that. So that's another overlay to keep an eye on. Double jointed pinless elbows. Vertical hinge on the right hand and on the left hand. It's a female figure, so probably has the diaphragm cut, but this vest is really stiff, so you're not going to be able to get anything out of it except for that little bit of movement there you just saw. You can tilt a little bit from side to side, and of course you can turn at that joint. She also has a hip joint, which gives you a little bit more tilt, and you can turn at that joint as well, though you kind of have to hold her by the waist when you're turning, or else they'll turn up here instead, or both. She's got the classified drop down hips that we're used to with these figures, and she can get a Van Damme about that far. She's got a thigh cut, double jointed pinless knees, boot cut. His foot can hinge back that far, can hinge forward about that far, can rock side to side. Got peg holes on the bottom to put her on a stand if need be. For accessories, she comes with this motocross helmet. This has got some mostly blacks, but it's got some gray on the top here, and then blue in the front, along with 2 white or more gray to give the appearance of fangs. And this is a tight fit, but you can push it down. It's a soft, rubbery kind of plastic, so it's not like too hard or anything like that. So you just shove it down over her head, and you'll be fine. So it looks kind of cool with it on, I think. In display, I would definitely keep her wearing it, most likely. She also comes with this knife, which is just all black plastic. They didn't bother painting the blade. And for a $55 vehicle, you would have thought or a $50 vehicle. How much did this thing cost? I can't remember. You would have thought they could have painted the blade, though. That would have been nice. That fits in the sheath on her boot. Like that. She also comes with a pair of handguns. You know, there's hair and everything. Get off of there. Every time I remove hairs, more appears. Too many cats in this house. 2 peg holes in the front for blast effects. Fairly detailed looking, but because it's all black plastic with no like wash or anything like that, you're not going to be able to see too much of the detail in the gun, unfortunately. These are actually bigger than the ones that came with Recondo, I believe. Or the one that came with Recondo, the one handgun that he had for his shoulder holster. I don't know why those guns are always so small. But these are a little bit bigger than that. And she has 2 holsters for it. She's got one that she cross draws from her left hip. And then for some reason her other gun holsters on her right hip. So I don't understand the logic of having a cross draw on here, on this side, on the opposite side of the other gun's holster. They should both be on the same side, or they should be both on the hip, because you can't cross draw from a thigh holster. That's not easy. That's not an easy move to make, trying to grab it out of a thigh holster. And of course, from where here's her belt buckle here, so the belt is centered where it's supposed to be. But this isn't an easy draw either. Even if you were to remove the gun and turn it the other way, it's not supposed to go in this way. See? It doesn't fit if you try to put it that way. It's supposed to go in like this. But that's not an easy draw. And neither is that down there. So I guess her left hand doesn't get to have a gun. She's got a gun for her right hand. When she runs out of bullets, she can drop it and draw that gun on the other side. So this figure's holster set was clearly designed by someone who's got no gun knowledge, I would say. Someone who doesn't realize that this right here would be a very difficult draw for the left hand, and this would be almost impossible. So the only way she could access either of her firearms was with her right hand. She can't carry two guns in her right hand at the same time. She would literally have to take one out, put it in her left hand, and then draw the other one, which isn't very effective. But anyway, we got our scout, we got our ferret. That's the most important thing, right? Yeah, don't want this on her face. So for me, this vehicle just came out. I got it a week ago. I got it some point last week. I think Tuesday is when it showed up at my door, maybe Monday. I don't know when it's due to arrive for you guys in America, for you watching in America. Oh, by the way, there's peg holes in the front for this gun too. I didn't mention that before. So you can put blast effects in this gun as well as this one. So that's cool. I don't know when it's due to arrive for you guys in the States. I think this might be a June release for you guys in the US and Canada. I'm happy that sometimes we get things before you over here in the UK, because that means I can do a video and maybe I'll get more than like 40 views because more people will watch it, since there's not very many out there, as America hasn't gotten their shipments in yet. So I'm going to get this up. When I get this video up, I hope to beat a bunch of the other big toy reviewers to the punch, because they live in the United States and they won't have gotten this yet. This is definitely one of the better vehicles. This blows the coil and the ram away. It's bigger than the Trouble Bubble, and it's the same price. So that was shocking. I was surprised. I wouldn't have put this at the same price point as the HMS maybe, but it definitely feels like it should have been more than this Trouble Bubble, but I'm not complaining. I'm glad they were able to get this out to us for the same price as the Trouble Bubble, because it's a really cool vehicle. It's the type of vehicle you want more of. I know there are some people who are who are going to get one for every Dreadnought, so that's a lot. If you want to get one for Torch, Buzzer, Ripper, Zartan, and Zorana, and possibly Xandar, since he's in the pipeline. But it's going to be hard to get hold of this, as they appear to not make that many of them for some reason. I can't believe that they sold out so fast. I don't remember how to look at the numbers sold on Pulse, but I know there's a code you can do to open up like if you right click and bring up the source, I think there's a way you can look at the numbers that they sold, but I can't remember how to do that. But yeah, if you did pre-order this, then I think you're gonna like it. If you didn't, hopefully you can get one and not have to pay eBay prices, because this is probably gonna be up there on eBay, like over 100 probably. The Vamp, I've seen the Vamp going for like 250, 150 to 250, anywhere in between there. So this will probably be between like 100 and 200, I can imagine. This is one of the more classic Cobra vehicles, up there with the Fang, the Rattler, and the Hiss. This is one of the ones that we think of when we're thinking of Cobra vehicles, because it got so much airtime in the comics and in the cartoon. But stay tuned. Next week we'll take a look at another G.I.Joe figure I have, because I still have a skyscraper high pile of boxes to get through, and I'll keep doing just more recent figures on Sunday until I've gotten through those pile, and then I'll switch back to the Blast from the Past. But until then, keep watching. Tuesday, I've got the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker review. Friday, I've got the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader removable helmet review. And then I'll put up another poll today. It might already be up, in fact, by the time I make this video live, so you can determine what I will review next week. So like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll talk to you next time.